Welcome to my 2021 Holiday Card Series. You can find the reference material associated with this video by clicking on the project page link in the description. We're ready to begin this Christmas card. You're looking at the template for the card. This is 5 by 7 inches, as are all in this series. And it's a snowman on some snowy a little hillside with some trees around, a little house in the background. I'm going to make this more of a night scene, and I want it to be kind of a snowy night. So I'm going to splatter some masking fluid on here, using the masking fluid with a toothbrush, and I've drawn this template on my my card. So this is one of the blank greeting cards. And I'm just going to dip my brush in the masking fluid, and I'm going to just splatter some of that masking fluid, and I'm going to tap it on my hand, which will give me some bigger drops. If you're doing this and you get some drops in a place that you don't want, or if you feel it's too big, the best thing to do is just to let it dry. And then before you paint, you can go ahead and just rub it off. That's what you'll do at some point in the painting. But if you do have some in areas that are noticeably in a spot you don't want or too big, like I said, all you have to do is let it dry and then just rub it off with your finger and then go ahead and paint. That's all we need to do. So we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come in and we'll start painting. All right. The masking fluid on this is dry, and so we're ready to paint. And I'll be using, I'm going to start with a round brush, a number 8 round brush here. This is going to be kind of an evening scene, but still having some light in it. I'm going to start with a darker tone. A little bit of green in that mixture. This is a royal blue, but you could use any dark blue that you may have, indigo or Prussian, however you want to, paint this sky. You'll see I'm actually gonna add a little ultramarine, perhaps, to that. That's one kind of a dark blue sky. I might add just a touch of rose madder, get a little violet, maybe with some of the ultramarine blue. Just get a variety going. There's just a little touch of violet in here. And I'm going to keep it a little lighter on this part of the sky and paint it around this little house. Going to bring this down to the edge. Painting over some of these shapes because what I'll be painting there in the end will be darker. So I'm going to get a little more of my royal blue, put in some of this rose madder, and I want to get a little darker over here. And I need to get this before it starts to dry. The paper that's on these greeting cards is not bad, but it's not quite the same. I think you'll find as some of your papers that you would normally work with. So just painting around the shapes. Bring that down over here. And we'll go across. So, you know, I have this kind of a dark sky. I'm actually going to add a little bit more. I'm going darker over here. It's probably as good as I'm going to get with this paper. Now, I'm going to take some of these colors and define the edges of the kind of the rolling hills and the snowman here. So I put that value down. I'm taking clear water. Just softening that up. Go around the snowman. And I'll take some of that here, some of the colors I have down there. Some clear water again. Gotta be careful I don't get up to this edge here. It'll start backwashing on me. Actually gonna lift a little of that out. And now I'm gonna go darker here in the foreground. Here's my royal blue. Let's see how this looks. You have to be careful when you're getting too close to the edges you've already painted because it'll start to backwash. And this paper tends to do that a little. You can kind of see some of that up there in the sky with some of that excess moisture that was around. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this and then I'm going to continue on, but I'm not sure I want this going all the way like it does. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay there, I think. All right, let me go ahead and dry this. So that's dry, and you could go, I'm gonna go in a little different direction, but if you wanted, you could keep this all kind of in blues and violets as you paint this. I'm gonna change some of the colors I'm gonna be using, but you could definitely keep this more an analogous color scheme, staying with some violets, blues, red violets. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paint a tree line back here. I'm going to use some greens and some blue. It's going to be a very kind of a blue-green actually. I want it to be more blue than green really. And I'm going to add just a little rose madder to help braid a little bit. Still want more blue in my mixture. There we go. Okay, so now this is just going to kind of be a silhouetted tree line back here. I don't want it quite that dark. Lift that a little. So this comes all the way down to the horizon line. Got some masking fluid there that's affecting just a little bit when I'm able to paint, but it'll be okay. Got lost just a little bit too much there. I think we'll be all right there. So I've got these trees just kind of coming down. Like I said, you could have kept this just kind of violets and blues, red violets. Some little tree there. And then I'm going to continue this over here. I'll put just a little something in here. Wasn't going to, but I think I could just use a little bit of that green right there with just a little break. And now I'm going to dry it. All right, that's dry. Now I've got a Christmas tree here, or a pine tree. I call it a Christmas tree. And I'm going to make it a much warmer color than what I've got here. A little different. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this in here. It's darker, it's warmer. I have that. And now I'm going to get a bright yellow. Let's see. Go use this gamboge. Sure, I have some good color there. And I'm going to paint I've got a little something in my brush. Let me get a different brush. So I have a nice clean yellow. So what I want to do is I want to paint a bright yellow in these windows just to make it look like you know, the house is all lit up at night. And now I want to dry that before I paint around the edges. Okay, so now I'm going to take some quinacridone burnt orange. You could mix what you want to mix. Maybe take a little of this rose madder and add to it, go a little darker. So I'm going to paint this just like it's a kind of a brick house. I'm not getting too involved with this. This is just a, you know, a card, trying to keep it simple. I kind of painted over my door. Let's see, let's try that again. I'll come back over this with a little darker mixture in a few spots. Let's see. Actually, I'm just going to go a little darker now. So I'm taking that burnt orange. And I'm going to add just a little ultramarine. I'm going to go darker. I'm going to go darker here. I'll use some water just to bring that value down a little bit, but let it soften at the same time. I'm gonna use some of that to paint the my chimney, which I kind of painted over. We're okay though. So there's our chimney. All right, now I'm going to take some raw sienna. And I might bring this down here to show some of the rooftop, and then just give the impression that there's snow covering part of it. I'll make that stick out a little bit more. And let me dry this. So that's dry. And I'm going to take just a little bit of this green to paint around the door. Just carry that green somewhere else in the painting. A few touches of it maybe. I'm going to blot that just to lighten it a little bit. You know, I could, let's see. I'm going to make just very small kind of like frames in the windows, not too much, and maybe show a little bit of an edge where the snow is, a little bit on the line there. And you see, I'm going to get an orange here. I have Halloween orange. I'm going to paint the carrot on that nose, or the nose, and get something here. Let's see, to paint this hat bit. And now, let me clear an area on my palette. And I just want to get just a little of a, let's see, we'll use this royal blue water. I just want to give the snowman here just some shadow on here, just so it's a little more three-dimensional. Perhaps just a little darker. So we'll go with this. All right, let's dry this and we'll take off the masking fluid. So that's dry. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pickup eraser, just carefully lift off the masking fluid that was on there. And I made it a pretty snowy night. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to do this. You can do it much lighter. I kind of like the textures and the atmosphere it creates. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take this tape off carefully and pull it away from where I've painted, because these cards sometimes can tear as you're pulling this off. And I use a pretty strong tape. So now we can start to see we have a nice border. And there we have our border that goes all the way around. And so just a nice little another Christmas card. So you don't have to use this masking fluid, but I like the effect you get with the splatter. Have fun with this subject, and hopefully you try some of the other cards in this series.